welcome in, gentlemen. We got Steve Bob in studio, trying to get his
I switched the
headphones
I hate out, and now they're here. They're just haunting me.
Right.
They're everywhere. These are like my...
spaghetti. You got the spaghetti going on.
These are my chains.
Yeah, just throw those around your neck.
Might as well.
Well, wait till midseason. David on the Locked On line. What's going on? You don't have a headphones problem. You got those AirPods.
Yeah. That's right. No wires. No restrictions.
I just ordered a pair of Bluetooth.
Inhibitions.
Ooh, sexy. I just ordered a pair of Bluetooth headphones, not AirPods, because I bike, and I'm scared, David, that if I bike, the pods will dip out on me. Is that ever a concern for you?
Those things stress me out, man. I feel I'm worried for you, David, that whenever I see somebody wearing them,
they're gonna fall out.
They're just gonna
fall out.
Leave you. You know, you'll just.
What's up, Double M15? We see you there on the chat. If you're joining us live on YouTube, beers to you.
These actually stay in better than wired pod dudes, because the wires are often the thing pulling on your earlobes.
Right. But if it does happen to fall out, and I have this is kind of a weird fact about me. I have weird earlobes.
Yeah. You guys can't see this right here. He's got a real elfish ear going on.
Yeah,
it's real gross.
It's a small ear hole, and it's a medical condition. It's called small ear hole. And if it were to fall out while I was on the bike, that'd be it. Like I'm not retrieving that.
Like you'd kill yourself?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. I was gonna say, hey, man.
I was just saying, like that would no more AirPod.
I mean, your ears are weird. Let's not say they're not, but it's not that serious.
Oh, Daniel's already commented on your LaCroix.
LaCroix?
He said Steve is basic.
Oh, how so? I disagree.
Whoa.
It's LaCroix? It's how do you say it?
LaCroix in my household.
I said LaCroix.
What
is the correct FIBA?
Well,
I think it is. I think it is LaCroix, but what's the beef with LaCroix?
Yeah, what is the beef there?
I don't like it. I'm with Daniel. Because here's my thing.
You and your weird ears just can't appreciate pamplemousse, which is, I think, a made-up word.
That's certainly. And here's my problem. I think that's made-up water. Because if I drink water, I expect water to have a certain consistency. It hits my taste buds in a certain way. And I don't want fizzy. Fizzy water just doesn't. It seems unnatural.
It's carbonated water.
It's unnatural.
You guys
it's not the way God intended.
Just don't understand it because it's French. Me and Nick Batum kind of get it, and
right.
So
all right, let's start this show.
Dude, I love a LaCroix. The effervescence. Come on,
so effervescent.
Don't even talk.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
Welcome in, Buzzamaniacs, to Locked On Hornets, your daily podcast on the Charlotte Hornets and the NBA. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Search your podcast app for Locked On to get podcast on the NBA, the NFL, and fantasy sports. We are coming to you live on YouTube from the Gittimer.com studios in beautiful Uptown Charlotte, the heart of the Queen City, on a wonderful Thursday, a post-game Thursday. We've got a preseason game to talk about here in a few moments. I'm Doug Branson, joined by a panel of Hornets experts. To my direct right, Steve Bob Forrest.
Nice. Wow.
Made that for you.
Hey, thanks, Doug.
Well, you made it, and then I made that little bit for you.
But yeah, hey, it's out there. It's public domain now. That's basic Steve Bob Forrest to you. Now I'm leaning into this with my LaCroix.
From the mean streets of Cotswold, David Walker.
Also, a panel of beverage experts, I would say. I mean, we just broke down the pluses and minuses of LaCroix. All pluses, by the way. So there you go.
All pluses. Everyone agrees it's great.
Oh, nope. That's not true.
100%.
I'm
unanimous.
I'm always the alt food take on here. I feel like I always have the alternative food take.
Oh, you're like the hipster guy.
I'm not hipster. I'm just like...
So you're like a hipster.
I don't understand the blowback on LaCroix. It could not be like more simple. I mean, it could be more simple if it was just water, but I mean, sometimes you want a little something peppy with your pizza. You know what I mean? And maybe you don't want a soda. Maybe you want.
Then you drink Pepsi. Then you drink a soda.
No. Yeah, if you want to die.
If you want soda, drink soda. If you want water, drink water.
Sure.
The soda water, no. Get out of here. Should mention, if you want a great podcast app, you should download Overcast on your iPhone or Stitcher if you've got Android, and go ahead and subscribe to this show and give us a star. Those stars help other hardcore Hornets fans just like you, other Buzzamaniacs, join this show. And if you're on YouTube right now, chat with us. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, try it out. We go live most mornings, 8 a.m. Look for the link on our Twitter at Locked On Hornets. Okay, let's start with this preseason game. The Hornets took on the Pistons in Detroit last night for their second preseason game. 49 seconds in, Nick Batum goes down with an elbow injury, officially listed as a sprained left elbow. He did not return to the game. The Hornets defense struggled early. They go into the half down 18. Hornets go on a 35-16 run in the third quarter thanks to 7 Pistons turnovers and a balanced scoring attack from Kemba Walker, Jeremy Lamb, and Marvin Williams. I do have some Frank Kaminsky sound. We'll see if I can pull that up in a second. But first, let me tell you, the game tightened up in the fourth quarter, and it was rookie Malik Monk who shined brightest, hitting a go-ahead 3 and a game-tying bucket in the final minutes. Hornets up 1, 8 seconds to go. Pistons final possession, and it's Frank Kaminsky stealing Tobias Harris's lunch money. Hornets win 108-106. Quick thoughts from David and Steve while I pull this audio up. We'll start with David. David, quick thoughts on this preseason win for the Hornets. A tight one.
Very excited to see Malik Monk shine, especially in big moments there, Doug. That's something that we talked about, and I know something that everyone was looking forward to. So, I mean, that was good to see. Obviously, the Nick Batum thing is not so good. Right out of the gate there to get the first update via Twitter that Nick Batum has gone to the locker room. Never a good sign, but hopefully it's not too serious. So get the win, the first win. That will be the answer to a trivia question. What team got the first win in the Little Caesars Pizza Arena?
The hot and ready. So Nick Batum, we should get an update today at practice. Steve, what else did you see in this one?
Oh, it's a Malik Monk time, guys. It's Monktober. Monktoberfest is here.
And I should say C with like big quotation marks because this game was really hard to track down. The box score was screwy. So this was an interesting experience. It was almost as if they didn't want us to succeed. They didn't want us to watch, but we did. We overcame it. We overcame it. We watched it. Steve, what'd you say?
I caught it over CB radio. You know, I just had my rabbit ears on.
I do have a little video here. This B-roll.
All right. Well, you know, I could just not talk about it.
No, talk about it. No, I put the Monk video for you.
Watch the entire game, and then I will speak eloquently on it. No, yes, this is great. This is what I'm talking about. Malik Monk doing a shot. There it goes in.
There's
guys
Marvin
can see
Williams on the pick and roll.
Look at that pass. Dude, I'm just so excited.
Exactly like I watched it last night, by the way. Going through the exact same emotions.
I'm so excited by these rookies, though. I'm really excited by Bacon too. I mean, he looks great, and I wish he had gotten a little bit more run. I don't know how much he got last night, but I do want to go back to Malik. I mean,
Please.
He came in the game the other night and just in a perfect, like the exact thing you would hope Malik Monk would do on his first ever shot, like NBA game shot. Just that step back 3 splashed it home.
Yeah, on the first game, yeah.
Yeah, and then seeing him have 19 last night, I think he it was cool to see that. I think it sounded like they
getting
were
more comfortable.
Yeah, getting more comfortable, finally settling in. You know, it's been a long 2 games for his career so far, but he's getting there. No, but it seemed like, you know, it was cool that the coaching staff seemed to kind of let him off the leash a little bit last night, you know, and we're like, yeah, just go around there and get some shots up, man.
And after that Boston Celtics game, it was also good to see the defense really locked down in the third quarter, and the second unit defense looked good too, and Double M15 saying the second unit overall looked good. Frank Kaminsky after the game was asked what was the difference first half to second half in that game with the defense. Here's what he said.
We communicated. We were talking through our stuff a lot better, whether it was switching, being the low man, rotations, everything. We just communicated well, and it forced them to be uncomfortable on offense.
So, you want to be easy with taking anything away from a preseason game, but you like the fact that in that first half they allow 30-plus points to the Pistons in both quarters, and then third quarter 16, and then fourth quarter when it mattered most, they made the plays that they needed to make, especially that second unit. And Frank Kaminsky, his defensive play against Tobias Harris, certainly a big deal. So we got a lot to talk about from this preseason game in honor of the struggle that we all went through in both trying to watch this game but also trying to even look at the box score. We're breaking out an old favorite for the rest of this recap. We call it the Boxscore Boogie. This game is simple. This is your first. By the way, this is Steve's first box score boogie. This is exciting.
Oh, God, guys. Don't make fun of me.
The game is very simple. We each have a number or two from the box score that we are going to throw out, and the rest of us will try to guess what that number is. David, hit us with your first number.
First number is 38.
38. Oh, I know this one.
38.
I know this one. Okay. This is the number of websites that I visited to try to watch this game. Steve, what do you got? 38.
38. That's how old Dwight Howard appears to be.
No.
On the break.
No.
Did you guys see? Shout out to Hornets Gifts Kurt going viral last night. He
looked good.
The first footage.
38. This was there's not a lot of centers that can run the floor like this. I'm sorry.
And dunk over Boban.
Yeah, here it is. He dunks just spin move. You know what's funny about this play?
That is because he's behind.
All of it.
He can't beat Boban Marjanovic down the court either.
But he had a head start. What are you talking about? Anyway,
don't
point,
make it.
And he was dribbling. There's that too. But the other thing is, Boban was really getting under Dwight Howard's skin, and Howard said before the game that he was focusing on sort of not let it. He thought that Aaron Baines got into his head a little bit, and that's why he didn't play as well against Boston in that first preseason game. And so he was focused on that. But
the
Boban,
Tommy Heinsohn effect when Aaron Baines gets
in the shower. So Dwight was really kind of pissed off at Boban, it looked like, and he took it out on him there on that play. All right, David, what's the actual number? 38.
38 is the number of three-point attempts from the Hornets, which is more than the Pistons' 34. They also hit 11.
I feel like this is an unconfirmed number, David.
Yeah, fact check that. 38 bigger than 34.
Well, no, that's it's just the box.
I'm going on the Hornets app.
Okay.
On the Hornets app. So that's my source.
I guess it's official. It's really weird. This box score was all kinds of weird last night. It had Dwight Howard
I've got more weird ones. Don't you worry.
Okay, my first number is 4 of 12. 4 of 12. David, what is 4 of 12?
4 of 12. That would be the number of free throw attempts for Dwight Howard versus makes. That
is incorrect.
Okay.
Steve, what you got? Don't look at my paper. No cheating.
4 of 12. Yeah. I don't know, man. I suck at this game. Tell me what it is.
It's not a good showing in your first one.
No.
Well, at least you're trying.
At least I did not try.
Kemba's field goal numbers last night, 4 of 12, and that followed a 3 of 11 performance on Monday. Some would look at that and worry about Kemba not being able to follow up his all-star shooting numbers, but not so fast. I seem to remember Kemba having a terrible preseason in 2016, and sure enough, I looked at the synergy numbers, 36.8% from the field, 0.667 points per possession. That ranked him in the 13th percentile offensively in the 2016 preseason, and he went on to have his best offensive year yet. So don't worry about Kemba. Don't look at the shooting numbers. Once again, for the people in the back pew, it's only preseason. Steve, this is your first game. Do you have a box score boogie number for us?
Well, I did not prepare one, but I got one for you guys. All right. The number is 0.
0. David, what do you got?
Well, I can tell you that's the number of turnovers listed for the Hornets in the Hornets app. So that is confirmed.
That confirmed. Wow, that's got to be a record.
0.
Yeah.
0. It wasn't Steve Clifford technicals because he got a technical in this preseason game. 0. I'm not sure, Steve. What's 0?
0 is the number of Hornets players' jerseys that have been retired prior to Malik Monk joining the team, because now it's 1, baby. I don't know if anyone's had their jersey retired after 2 preseason games.
You're ready.
Before, but I'm fired up for this guy, man.
I love it. David, you got another number for us?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know if it's correct, but I'm going to go with 18. 18.
18. That's the number of headphones that I've had to throw away because they were too big for my small ear holes. Steve.
18 is the number of the size of Boban's shoe.
There you go, 18.
That's got to be bigger.
That's
than
it, David.
That could be correct, but I think this is correct. That's the number of points Jeremy Lamb scored last night in a nice second effort to start the season here. That's something we were looking for, Doug. And the consistency, right? Doing that. Exactly. So 18 points from Lamb, another good one.
Well, and he was scoring inside and out, was able, using that strength to get inside and his quickness to get inside as well, and then knocking down a few mid-range shots. Still haven't necessarily. What do he shoot from beyond the arc in this one? Yeah, 0 of 3. So
11 of 38.
I got another number for you guys. Can I go again?
Yeah, please.
25.
25.
25. The number is 25.
25. Is that the number of turnovers for the Detroit Pistons in the third quarter?
It's
no,
not.
That was 0. Both teams have 0. We already covered that.
Amazing. Flawless game.
What is it? What's the number?
25. The age of Cody Zeller today. It's Cody Zeller's birthday, I just found out.
Oh, happy
From
birthday.
NBA tweeted that out, not the Hornets. Yeah, go Cody. It is your birthday.
I want to go back to that Dwight Howard play. See if I can pull it up again. If I have that power.
I want to see these threes. You said he took 2 threes.
I don't.
According to the Hornets app, it's 0. A lot of zeros on the Hornets.
I could have easily missed them, but I want to go back to this Dwight play because
just like Dwight, you could have easily missed them.
Aussie. Hey, David, you remember Aussie Steve? Big fan of the show. Haven't heard from him in a while, but we heard from him on Twitter last night and said that anytime we should start a new segment on the show, and anytime Dwight pulls off something like this, he's basically welcoming them to America, welcoming them to the.
I go to the White House.
To the Dwight House.
Right.
So he basically, just welcomed Boban to.
I go to the White House.
Okay.
So we can do that anytime Dwight has a spectacular play. The spin move at the end is what sealed it for me. That's what I really liked. Coast to coast.
Yeah, I was just glad to see him, and I was glad to see him dunk it. It wasn't a rookie year Dwight dunk, but it was a two-handed dunk again over Boban. So that's all shake there. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's good point. I mean, I was a little concerned after the first game that he was playing a lot below the rim, and that's a huge concern for Dwight Howard. But that block he had really early in the first game was nice. I mean, I was genuinely excited. I was like, I haven't seen a Hornets player do something like that in forever. You know?
And you could see at the beginning of that play, it started with his defense. It started with him disrupting a Pistons drive and then doing something kind of rare for him, which is taking it coast to coast. That was the story. But really, his defensive presence so far has been completely on point. And, I think that there's a lot to we got to figure a lot of things out before we make any kind of judgments on what Dwight Howard can and can't do offensively. But I'll tell you, Steve Clifford and Nick Batum have both said that a focus is going to be getting Dwight Howard the ball in situations where he can benefit, and something that Dwight didn't feel like was happening in Atlanta. And it sounds like Clifford and Nick Batum both want to make sure that Dwight is satisfied and happy with his role in the offense. Okay.
Or can I make an observation?
One more thing, and then we got to move on. Yeah.
All right, Dave. You'll know this as a fellow pickup guy. Doug, just do something else right now. Doesn't Dwight have that vibe? Like when the big guy playing, as soon as he gets the ball, it's like the blinders are on.
Right.
Yeah,
he wants to go.
No, he just but wherever he gets it, he's just like spin moves and he turns into like a kid. It's kind of fun to watch, but then kind of like I'm not sure it's the best method for offense for us.
I think we just want to.
But he's so excited.
Amazing.
He's like, he's.
Do we know? Was there a point guard on the floor at that time? Did anyone call for the ball? I didn't see. I mean, not that he would have seen it or given it up, but it happened. I mean, it did happen kind of fast. But was there no one saying, "Hey, Dwight, outlet," or let me take this, and maybe you run this way?
So you had to look at Dwight's eyes at the end of that. He shoved Boban as he ran back down the court for defense, and I'm telling you, there was just. I'm sure that there was a look in his eyes that everyone could see. Is like, all right, Dwight's got, and it's preseason. That's the other thing too. There's you can try some things. It's crazy. Lamont here on the chat saying Dwight was as big as all of Australia last night.
Yeah, he was really put together.
Tommy, shower. Okay, I'm normally not a fan of covering the coverage, talking about what other people say about the Charlotte Hornets, especially most national outlets, because they just don't get it. But I always make a special exception for Bill Simmons and his weird quest to send the Hornets to Seattle and forever demean the team for whatever reason. I don't know if he got like bad sushi in Charlotte, like what happened, but he's never been a big fan of the Hornets. They did their over-under pods this week, guys. Steve, you listened closely. Can you give us a recap of what was said on this podcast about the Charlotte Hornets?
Yeah, so basically it was intriguing to me because, like you said, they're almost always like they'll just breeze through them or not even talk about the Hornets sometimes. Just very dismissive. And surprisingly, they all hit the over pretty hard for the I guess Vegas has us at 42 wins, and Simmons, Jason Concepcion, and House all went 47 wins, hard over, locked it. And Simmons actually said he could see them being fourth
in the East.
Wow. He also said that he envisions their crunch time lineup starting with Dwight.
I heard
so.
This.
I'm not sure that
that part of it is fine to me, Steve.
Yeah.
I think that Dwight Howard is definitely going to want to be involved in crunch time, and so if you don't at least try it, you're just sort of asking for conflict. But the other parts of that, did you listen to this, David?
I did.
So you know the crunch time lineup: Kemba Walker, Malik Monk, Nick Batum, Frank Kaminsky, and Dwight Howard. That was Bill Simmons' suggested crunch time, and I think that lineup's fine if you're playing a team that has absolutely no offense.
It's never been fine in Dwight's career to have him in there in the last 2 minutes. They're gonna just he's literally the number one guy in the league, maybe DeAndre, that you would just hack right there.
Yeah,
and Cody is a great free throw shooter for a sitter. And he's got the energy and stuff. It's like, just take those 2 minutes off. I know Dwight doesn't like it.
Maybe there's a distinction between sort of crunch time in terms of just that latter half of the fourth quarter and maybe the final 2 minutes when situationally, obviously.
Yeah, the difference is the definition of crunch time.
You're right.
Is that those last 2 minutes.
Well,
the fourth quarter, yes, you can play Dwight in the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's fine. And listen, let him get one of those, like, let him take a 360 spin move, fadeaway three, Clifford in the third quarter, and just let him get his yucks out, and then sit his butt on the bench later.
But David, what do you think about that crunch time lineup?
Both cheeks.
Yeah, for some reason I was more surprised to hear Frank's name in there. Maybe that's just because I felt a bad taste in my mouth from preseason games.
This lineup would struggle defensively.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I think it wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think like everything is going to be situational, so I think we'll sometimes, but we talked about it too. I mean, Cody ending the game is kind of what, made sense to start the season, but we'll see. I mean, also everyone on the pod liked that crunch time lineup. Like there was no, poo-pooing that. Like it was kind of intriguing to everyone on there, which is also kind of interesting. Good to get another perspective. But I was also blown away by the fact that he thought they would be fourth, even though I think that was maybe my high prediction in our Locked On preview podcast. Doug, I can't remember. I know I went high, but
yeah, I was saying.
I think we certainly took the over. I don't know if I went 47.
I've said a couple of times. I think their ceiling is like 3. I think they could get that third seed if everything goes right.
If everything goes right, 4's in play. 4 and 5.
Daniel here on the chat. He listens to he's been with us virtually, if not actually, since the beginning, and he can now read our minds because he's perfectly segueing me into what I wanted to talk about next.
Dougaholic.
Dougaholic day one.
My only issue with that podcast was some of the things that Tate Frazier said. He is under the impression that Monk wants to be the star of the team, and also said that Bacon could be better. Yeah, he actually said that Monk. He stated it almost as a fact, or an unsubstantiated. What it essentially is an unsubstantiated rumor. It's not even being reported as a rumor that Malik Monk wants to start for the Charlotte Hornets. I have seen that in 0 places. Yeah. Not even on Yabata. Not even on these like fake news #fake news sites that just sort of get forum board post and turn them into rumors.
And with like nothing to back it up, he's just like, I mean, that's just what I think, man. Malik just doesn't like Charlotte. It's like, are you a Hornets fan? I don't even know how you would come to that conclusion. One of the things he said was that, well, he's like, well, Monk's he's a Nike guy. And so, obviously the Jordan thing's like, oh, do you think Michael Jordan, like if LeBron James or Kevin Durant wanted to play for the Hornets, he'd be like, yeah, take a hike, buddy.
I love these Schumers.
Yeah.
That's what these are. These are
everyone wears
Schumers.
Jordan brand here.
If you don't wear Jordan brand, then you really don't respect the Charlotte Hornets. It's silly, David.
Well, did you guys notice Nick Batum is now on Jordan brand?
And so
he's trying to keep his starting spot,
Bacon.
David. He's trying to keep his starting spot.
And the reason that Monk isn't yet is because he hates Michael Jordan and Charlotte. And I heard he wants to burn the city down, guys. I just think I heard that in my head just now.
Well, listen, that's my problem with it is that it's complete. Other than I guess you could say that his comments about wanting to be drafted by the New York Knicks and wanting to be Rookie of the Year, and in order to be Rookie of the Year, you really have to, like Malcolm Brogdon, acquire a starting spot and get those big minutes to compete for Rookie of the Year. So you could extrapolate in your own mind and sort of assume that means that Malik Monk wants to start immediately. But there is zero rumor. He's not said anything. It's just, and that's a big podcast. That's what I'm saying. Like national people will listen to that and assume that there's some kind of.
I think
that there will be
Simmons
conflict.
started the whole LeBron to LA thing because if you go back to
that I actually believe.
Yeah, I know, but listen,
that's definitely going to happen.
I watched that, like you could see that unfold because he even said, like the first time he said, he's like, I have nothing to back this up. I have no proof or anything. I just think this is going to happen. And he kept saying it over and over again. And then all of a sudden within 3 weeks, I mean, he's one of the leading voices in the NBA world. So it's like people take things said on his podcast and they're like, oh, let's write a story about that. And then that can influence a narrative.
Well, and it does kind of feed into a section of the fan base that does want Malik Monk to start and believes that the offense, the starting unit offense will benefit from that. And they certainly, when you watch MKG and Dwight Howard early on, there are some spacing issues. There have been some offensive hiccups. It's too early to really make any judgments about how effective those two will be on the floor together at the same time, but it certainly feeds into that, David.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be calls for Monk start now that, Batum, that was one of the emails I got as soon as he got hurt. Oh, time for Malik Monk to step up. So
yeah, we'll have to.
I do think.
I don't think, but just real quick, I think that Lamb would start, and like he did, he took over. I think, and that's the one to me. That's the one indicator that Malik Monk is nowhere near a starting spot at this point. You put in Lamb for Nick Batum. Why? Because size. Because defense.
Yeah. Totally, and that's fine. I mean, I'm fine with bringing the guy along slowly. We have that luxury. It's nice. I think he could come in and start right away. You can see that he can already score at an NBA level. Like that's no question. But it's a nice to be able to have him coming off the bench there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I would just say that if you're a Hornets fan though, why would you even? I'm so excited about this guy. We haven't had somebody that can just he threw a 360 down in practice that just so easy. It's just exciting. I don't know why anybody would just want to get rid of him, but
right.
Did you think some of that was tongue in cheek though? I mean, I thought the shoe thing was kind of tongue in cheek, and
that's what I was wondering. But I can't he's just not good at getting that across. If he is you need to tip your hat a little bit more and let us know that's a joke. He's just everything is said.
Please tweet us and let us know it's a joke, please.
And the origin of that, I mean, Simmons obviously comes from a fan's perspective, so it started a lot of that, and so some of those conversations do happen. And he's even got to the point of saying, "Hey, NBA Reddit, don't take this comment and run with it."
Right.
So he's aware that stuff happens.
I would say generally you can tell when Simmons is making a joke.
Then just say my thing is I think that Malik Monk will want to start eventually.
Yeah, Bill, come on.
No, it wasn't Bill. It was Tate.
Rein in Tate, Bill. They're listening.
All right, we got to move on. Want to finish with this. Last but most certainly not least, I'd like to talk for a few minutes about the biggest story in Charlotte sports at this moment. Doesn't involve the Hornets. It involves the Panthers, specifically comments made by quarterback Cam Newton at a press conference yesterday in response to a question about wide receiver Devin Funchess' route running by Jordan Rodrigue. Panthers beat writer for the Charlotte Observer. Cam said, quote, "It's funny to hear a female talk about routes," unquote. Jordan Rodrigue is a female reporter. More importantly, she is a talented reporter, a knowledgeable reporter, and a respected reporter among her colleagues. I want to turn to David first for your thoughts on this situation. What are your thoughts?
Thanks. Okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
I think
what are your
Cam,
thoughts?
Cam has. This is not the first time Cam has gone up there and tried for something in a press conference that did not exactly land, whether it was humor, whether it was some sort of off-the-cuff comment. I mean, I think in that regard, this is probably his masterpiece because this was a disaster.
In the worst way.
It was completely wrong. It was completely inaccurate. And like you said, I mean, she's obviously does the homework. And so it was not only disrespectful in what he said, but in the way he said it and in some of the other terms he used. Now, I will say, I think he was going for something else. I think he thought he was going to get a reaction. He kind of paused and waited for a laugh that was replaced by just a thud of silence in that media room. And so I certainly hope today he comes out with a better apology than the team came out with last night, and the one that he apparently did not give to Jordan when they spoke immediately after that press conference. We also know that Cam's not always at his best when immediately confronted and called out. So I don't know. I think he definitely needs to have something to say very soon today, and hopefully to her directly. But yeah, you just can't say that. It's not accurate. And this is, I think a lot of people are going to come down hard on Cam. A lot of people look for any reason to come hard down on Cam. And this is certainly a good one because this is a screw up.
I'm amazed by the incident itself, and I'm also amazed by the response to the incident by some people on social media for two different reasons. First of all, I'm amazed about the incident because the question that Jordan asked was a positive question. It was positively tilted towards the team and towards Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. And she asks great and pointed questions all the time. She's not afraid. But this particular one was a softball. And Cam took that opportunity to demean her in an especially embarrassing way. It would not have made it any less demeaning or ignorant had her question been critical of him. But it's amazing, and I think telling, that he chose that moment to say something like that. This was not something born out of a moment of passion or frustration or anger. This was or it was just out of a moment of carelessness and ignorance, as evidenced by Rodrigue's own account after she approached him after this was all over, and he said that he didn't know her name or really anything about her, what she knew, before he spoke.
I would just say that everything around it, that from his perspective, sounds like it's just the type of thing like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old boy would think. You're like, would right. Instinctively say, you're just like, oh, my boys will laugh at this, right? Because it's just real immature. And then to right. And then to keep going in that direction, be like, I don't even know her name. It's like, come on, man. You're like, you're a huge, famous adult man, whether or not, it's just kind of mind-boggling to me. Some of his decisions, like his public persona is so hard to figure out because it seems like a put-on, but he also doesn't seem to really stand for anything, but he loves making statements that are kind of just like, don't stand for anything. And it's like, well, all right, then just don't insert yourself into that conversation. Right. I'm also amazed by a particular breed of response to this from both men and women, and we're getting a lot of comments on these, so we'll take those here in a few seconds. But I'm also amazed by a particular response on Twitter mainly. It goes something along the lines of, quote, "Well, how many women do you know who know about routes?" Or this other kind of comment: "In Cam's defense, I'm a woman and I don't know a lot about routes." This is a perfect example of a false equivalency. Yeah. It's a bad analogy. This is Jordan Rodrigue's job. This is her career, what she is paid to do, what puts food on her table and a roof over her head. It's the thing she has dedicated her education and her life to. This is not the same as you, a fan,
going up to Cam and trying to strike up a conversation with him about reading the 3-4 defense. The better analogy, anonymous Twitter user, is if you were to have a conversation with another employee at your place of business and you needed something from that employee and they treated you as less than because you were a woman or you were another race or you were different in some kind of way. That's the analogy.
Yeah. Also,
and it's not. Yeah, Doug. It's not even that it's her job, right? Because I think there are probably guys in that room, and Cam even said after maybe he should have said reporters. You know, there are people in that business. There are people doing the reporting that probably don't know routes or some of the defenses you listed off. But it was the way he framed it. It wasn't because of that. It was because she was, a woman, and that's obviously clearly the issue.
Want to get to one of these comments, Carson saying Cam's apology is going to come out on Instagram in that awful font. I mean, maybe.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope this is serious, right? Let's hope that.
Well, and let's hope the Panthers get in there. Well, this one needs to be, and the Panthers have got to step up and do something a little more than they did yesterday, too, in my opinion, with whatever that response was they put out. I mean, this is going to be a test for them, too. This is a guy they've had in that building for quite some time, and there needs to be. I mean, this is on Cam, obviously, but somebody's gotta help him out at some point, and they've got to come together to do some sort of apology and response to this pronto.
But that was my point. I wasn't making a joke of that thing, and I'm sorry I forgot the commenter's name, but that stuff coming out in that font, like that, to him, that is him. Like he thinks he's being serious with that stuff. Like he takes himself very seriously. He doesn't have a sense of humor about himself, and he posts these weird, super serious things. There's like, gotta block the haters in that ridiculous font and stuff. So it's
I call them my hater blockers.
There you go. Thank you, Frank. See,
right.
So it's just like, I fully expect him to do something like that. And it will definitely come off as the type of thing that he was forced to apologize or something.
Who knows? I mean, we're going to see what happens today. But I felt like, look, we cover a team. And we're human beings, and we should talk about the biggest stories that are going on around Charlotte sports. And so thanks for listening to that. Got a couple of comments here from Futurist CLT that I want to read. If Monk can play as well as he did last night coming off the bench, and Lamb can continue his improved play, the Hornets bench might actually be a strength this year. He also says MKG has been playing really well on defense thus far as well. Yeah, exactly. And MKG can be a little bit more aggressive on defense now with Dwight Howard. How many blocks did he finish with in this game? 2 blocks.
38.
Also, MKG just doesn't. There's no preseason MKG for him. He just has MKG for him. It's great. But the second unit was like astonishingly fun to watch in that first game, and I think that's going to be a big advantage for us this year. A lot of energy. Cody looks in great shape. Jeremy and Cody both look like bigger, stronger, faster, more productive.
And there's a question here in the comments from Futurist CLT. Can you guys see anybody getting traded by the All-Star break besides point guard? What's the team's biggest need to bridge the gap from the 5 or the 4 seed to the 3 seed? Those are all great questions, but we're out of time. But we will answer them in the coming days. I will note those Futurists, and we'll make those segments on the show because those are fantastic questions. We love your questions, and we love answering them. So make sure
setting up future segments.
Exactly.
Seize the future.
I love it. So make sure you're getting those to us. Either chat with us live on YouTube, or you can send them to us on Twitter at Locked On Hornets, or on the email. People still email, right? buzz@lockedonhornets.com. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Hornets here on the Locked On Podcast Network. For Steve and David, I'm Doug saying go Hornets, go America, and we'll see you tomorrow. Let's swarm Charlotte.
All right, David.